Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV. I'm Gargi Rawat. Visuals you're on your screens there of the Prime Minister at the Somnath Temple in Gujarat. This is to mark 1,000 years of resilience of the Somnath Temple. It's been 1,000 years since it was attacked by Ghazni and rebuilt again and again after each and every attack. It also marks 75 years since the temple was rebuilt after independence in 1951. So the Prime Minister arriving in Somnath, he visited the temple, participated in the Omkar chanting that is taking place at the temple. He also participated in prayers there, and now watching the drone show that is taking place. We're told that 3,000 drones are there in the skies above the Somnath Temple, recreating various images from the Shivling to the temple itself, to Om. Sardar Patel, who played a big role in the revival of the Somnath Temple and then its final inauguration that took place in 1951. And there you can see the Prime Minister there in prayers. He's going to be there for 2 days. Tomorrow as well, he will take part in prayers and also address the crowds that have gathered there. There will also be a display. There will be 108 horses to mark the sacrifices of our warriors to protecting the temple. Let's go across to Gauri Dwivedi, my colleague, joining us for more. And Gauri, take us through the Prime Minister's program, the significance of the Omkar mantra chanting that has already taken place. The drone show, of course, is for the gathered, the public that has gathered over there. And then tomorrow, tell us what's going to be happening there.
Gargi, it's an extremely important event that is taking place right now. The visuals that are coming in are, of course, of the Prime Minister praying right now. There is the 108 Omkar Stotra that will go on for some time. But in the backdrop of that, what our viewers really need to understand, why is this so significant when you mark the 1,000th anniversary of the very first attack on this temple, on Somnath Ji, that took place in 1026 by the Mahmud of Ghazni. 1,000 years story of attack, resurrection, resilience, revival. And I think that's the single biggest arc of our civilizational history that is being marked with this event today. Tomorrow is when the Prime Minister will, there are a string of programs that are lined up marking just this. As you pointed out, the 108 horses, all of them will be a symbol of the valor, the courage of all those who stood in support and protection of the temple. It is not just about a Hindu temple. It is not about just Hinduism or belief. Of course, it is about belief, but it's also about the faith of revival. It's the faith that after every attack, there will be a renaissance. And that cultural renaissance is what this entire event marks. And which is why, as I said, it's an important inflection point in the civilizational history of not just India, Bharat. And I think that's what the temple also embodies, which is dignity and self-respect for a country, for a race, for a people that were attacked and attacked, but they stood up every single time.
All right, we're also joined by Shivakumar GV, director of Indica, Rahul Ishwar, author, and Kapil Kumar, historian, Professor Kapil Kumar, also joining us. Thank you so much all for joining us as we're seeing these visuals coming out from the Somnath Temple, where the Prime Minister is participating in the celebrations there. It's an important occasion as well. As Gauri was pointing out, it is it's the Somnath Swabhiman Parv, which commemorates 1,000 years since the invasion by Mahmud of Ghazni in 1026. That was the first time the temple was attacked, and then it was attacked again and again. The Prime Minister hailing it as a symbol of resilience and civilizational continuity for India. Shiv Kumar GV, first to you, your comments on the significance of commemorating this event, and how can we make sure that it is something that makes us look forward and celebrates our resilience and is not an exclusionary event or commemoration.
Namaste. Thank you for having me here. As you rightly said, there is a 1,000-year significance to this event, which Honorable Prime Minister himself actually mentioned in his speech. This resilience ought to have an influence on the cultural renaissance that has just yet begun for the nation. What we are celebrating today is the resilience of the society to withstand physical attack. And the physical attack was multidimensional. It was not just an attack on the temple, it was an attack on the riches, on the ecosystem around the temple, on the religious and psychological and cultural confidence of an entire civilization. Having said that, the significance of this event, of celebration of this 1,000 years with Honorable Prime Minister himself being there, is a signal to the larger nation of the intellectual and civilizational rebuilding that has to happen, which is not just about the riches, the material wealth, but it is also about the entire thought process of the nation, entire intellectual heritage that we have left behind for a long time, which we have not been accessing, which today we call it in various forms. We sometimes call it Indian knowledge systems, then we call it about heritage and so on and so forth. Being able to rebuild every intellectual pursuit, cultural pursuit of the nation through knowledge from the past, that is the decolonization that is awaiting in front of us. That is the opportunity, and that is the moment that Honorable Prime Minister himself is signifying in his extraordinarily crafted op-ed, which was published a few days ago.
All right, Kapil Kumar, Professor Kapil Kumar, if you could come in here. Can remembrance of medieval history really contribute to broader understanding and a celebration of our resilience rather than any sort of, exclusion or polarization, which has been something of a concern, given that, the type of events from Ram Mandir to now Somnath Temple that are being celebrated such a big way by the government, by the Prime Minister?
You see, it is not just a reconstruction of the history or resilience and all that. It has a very contemporary message, and I think Gauri, if I'm not wrong, put it very rightly, your reporter, when she's reporting on that incident from there, The reason is that in the contemporary times also, Pakistan is making a Ghazni missile. What is taught in Pakistan's books today only, I was reading this book, on the assassination of Liaquat Ali and all. And in this book itself, what they mentioned that what is being taught in Pakistan, that when was Pakistan created? It was created after the Mir Qasim's invasion of Sindh, and with great heroic aspect they took off Muhammad Ghaznavi, and they still keep threatening. You see, if you look at their dialogues, if you look at their threats and all, they keep mentioning that we will do the same what Ghaznavi did. You have heard voices from Pakistan again, that they will again, blast the Somnath Temple and all these things. So in that context, it is very essential to build the confidence of the Indian people, to show it to the world, that look, yes, you destroyed us, but here we are today in that sense. That is one aspect. Secondly, it also gives a very interesting political message also to those. I didn't want to go in politics of this, but since it becomes, these things continue, when this temple was, money was being collected for building this temple, a lot of Indian people of Indian origin in different former plantation colonies, they wanted to contribute heavily for it. And I was able to discover letters from the then PMO of India instructing our envoys in these foreign countries that they have to stop this, and they have to not even in a way side with it, nor ask or not advise anyone, and no funds should come like this to India for the construction of this temple. The rest is all what you know, how Rajendra Prasad ji was treated and all. Again, one can forget these things in history. But when in contemporary times again this happened, you have seen the politics which was drawn in relation to the temple in Ayodhya. When these things continue, then one has to look into these aspects. And lastly, I'll say one more thing, that the history which has been taught, remember in 2004, just before the elections, Romila Thapar came with an article that Somnath Temple was never attacked by Muhammad Ghaznavi. She doesn't know Persian, she has read no chronicles of that period, Whereas Ghaznavi's own chronicles are, historians are saying of that time that he attacked and all that. It's another matter that he couldn't even take that loot, because our warriors, took it all in the deserts of that time. But this kind of political usage, when under the tools of certain ideologies people do in relation to this, then it is very essential for our present generations to know. And Ishwar will know, I and Ishwar have been on debates on another channel on the issue of temples and all.
So Romila Thapar did write the book on, Somnath Temple and the many voices of a history. So I think there were various accounts, because there are, of course, various accounts of if we go back into medieval history. But let me go across to Rahul Ishwar as well. And Rahul, we're talking about the symbolism of the Somnath Temple and what the Prime Minister said. And concerns also being raised about the celebration and how it must be something that we're looking forward rather than going back to traumatic incidents, but at the same time using them to talk about our resilience. So can a Hindu temple act as a unifying symbol in a country like ours, multi-faith, secular republic?
Gargi ji, 3 points. One, I am a proud Hindu activist and it brings me great joy to see Somnath being revived. And second point, we should be politically and intellectually honest that there were 3 positions in India, even pre-independence, regarding Somnath. One was the Nehruvian left position, then there was Sardar Patel's right-leaning, Hindu-leaning position, third was the Mahatma Gandhi's centrist position. And Nehruji, let me be very honest, with greatest of respect to Nehruji, he as a public policy was against Somnath being funded like this. But it was the great Sardar Patel and K.M. Munshi who took...
Right, he wanted it not to be funded by the state or any sort of, state money going into it, but through donations, which is what Mahatma Gandhi also wanted. Yes.
No, just one submission. That's the nuance. See, Nehruji had a different take, Patel had a different take. So Gandhiji created a beautiful center where Gandhiji even said on 13 November 1947, I would gladly associate myself with Somnath movement and even go around with a begging bowl for the sacred purpose. So the father of the nation said, I will go around with a begging bowl to create funds, and Mahatma Gandhi was rightly against using state funds. See, these 3 are different positions we should respect. But as a Hindu, like Kapil Sir earlier said, our temples needs to be revived. We are the largest Hindu majority nation in the world. We need not be secular shy, but at the same point of time, we need to be pluralist. We need to be mindful of our Muslim brothers, Christian brothers and all. But we Hindus should be proud to celebrate our legacy because we are the largest Hindu majority nation in the world. At the same point of time, because of our dharma, we should be inclusive like Vivekananda and pluralists like Mahatma Gandhi. And Somnath is a great example because a person like Mahatma Gandhi himself said, people like Sardar Patel said, Rajendra Prasad said, K.M. Munshi ji said, Somnath is a symbol of civilizational resurgence. It's a matter of Hindu pride, India's culture. So we should honestly appreciate it. I am mindful of the leftist difference of view. We can respect it, need not agree with it. But it is a great symbol of civilizational resurgence because it was upon the attack or some destruction of Somnath that many unfortunate things happened in our history. And let us not close our eyes towards it. And I would like to end by saying I proudly come from Kerala, where we have the 3rd oldest mosque in the world and the oldest Christian community. We believe in pluralism. At the same point of time, that secularism should not come at the cost of Hindu culture. Hindu culture and secularism can coexist happily, and we should proudly celebrate what PM says, Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas. You can call it Gandhian, pluralist, Sabka Saath Sabka Vikas. And Somnath coming out will definitely inspire a lot of Indians towards our culture, our Veda, our Tantra, our ancient civilization, yoga, meditation. These are the things which will make us Vishwaguru, and India should rightly celebrate that aspect of our culture, which is celebrated by Vivekananda and Mahatma Gandhi.
All right. Well, thanks for that, Rahul Ishwar. They're talking about the significance of the Somnath Temple and what is being commemorated here. We also have Dr. Akriti Bhatia, who's contributed to a book on Hindu philosophy and taught sociology and religion. Your comments on what is being said here. Why should we shy away from celebrating a symbol of India's resilience like the Somnath Temple, something as my colleague Gauri Devedi was describing as a symbol of cultural renaissance, now to celebrate after 1,000 years of the first attack, and also 75 years since it was rebuilt in 1951 after independence. And why should we be shy to celebrate this symbol of India?
So, Gargi ji, again, I want to reiterate that I'm acknowledging that Somnath is indeed a cultural symbol of resilience and it must be celebrated. Its reconstruction should be celebrated. But let's not mistakenly call this as a symbol of unity, is what I am emphasizing here, number one. And number two, it's the same debate that we are at the same juncture where Gandhi ji, Nehru said that this shouldn't be state-sponsored. Because if you look at what is happening right now, is that this is a state-led religious nationalism being glorified in some way. And that is what is problematic. If it was publicly funded, then it is something, but the political messaging around it and the way it is being canvassed is the problem out here. And if you talk about civilization, then our civilization is not just about invasions. It is also about coexistence, about cultural harmony. That history is also about the Bhakti movement and many other such examples where we see from our own Vedas of how plurality is inbuilt. And and it's not just about ideology, it's also about current governance practices where citizenship laws and there are inherent exclusionary majoritarian kind of tendencies in the state. We must accept that. This is what is problematic, and this is what everybody is. Even I am a practicing Hindu and a proud one at that. But when the state itself loses its neutrality and politicizes such things, that becomes a problem. So that's
all right. A quick comments to that, Kapil Kumar. I see you want to come in. Yes, and how can we celebrate? How can we celebrate this without redigging and reliving the trauma which we talk about, the invasion, the attacks, the destruction of our temple? And isn't it oversimplifying a very complex medieval history?
No, Gargi ji, the question here is, we respect plurality. But then, when we respect plurality, the others also should respect plurality. We respect multiculturalism. So respecting multiculturalism is meant for those who have respect for others' cultures also. Not to dominate and crush the other cultures. We believe in human rights, so others should also believe in humanity. And this thing of, being said about Sarvdhara Samba and Vasudev Kutambaka for long and all, which has been said, I would like to, because I am a historian and history is not just past. I look in the present times. And when all this is repeated, has the word kafir been removed? Has the word Ghazwa Hind been removed? They continue from that period only, from that century till now. Over there, you still have heard.
All right, I'm running out of time. Shiv Kumar, GV, you come in here as well. I want to get his comments as well. Yes, go ahead, Shiv Kumar.
Yes. I would like to respond to the honorable scholar who just spoke. Most importantly, truth is of paramount importance.
I'm not getting the voice.
Whether it is plurality, am I audible?
Yes, go ahead.
Whether it is plurality or any other civilizational governance value that we have to pursue, it cannot come in the way of simple truth being presented.
Please get the voice corrected, please.
The truth here is, the historical truth here has been significantly blurred over the years, and it is having...
All right, I'm sorry to interrupt you all. Thank you so much for being with us. I have to go across to my colleague Aditya, who is actually there at Somnath Mandir. Over to you, Aditya. Tell us what's happening.
Well, yes, live and exclusive visuals of the Somnath Temple only on NDTV right after Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in fact, came here. You can see right behind me. This is the Somnath Temple, the iconic temple that is being celebrated here. The Hindu civilization, the Indian civilization being celebrated. There is Omkar Mantra that is being, the Ucharan is being done here. This is where the drone show held as well. Prime Minister came here at least for an hour. And tomorrow is that crucial day, Gargi, when Prime Minister will come here again, right here at the Somnath Temple in Gujarat, where the special prayers will be held to celebrate Somnath, to celebrate Lord Shiva, but also to celebrate the resilience of the Hindu civilization and how it has withstood here, and Somnath being the biggest symbol of it here in India. So live and exclusive visuals right behind me of this Somnath Temple, completely in a lot of color, a lot of enjoyment, and hundreds and thousands of people have come here to celebrate this Somnath Swabhiman Parv.
All right, thank you so much, Aditya, for getting us those, visuals there from the Somnath Temple. The Prime Minister has a program that will continue tomorrow as well. So do remember to watch NDTV in the morning and when we continue with our coverage of the Prime Minister at the Somnath Temple. There will be a procession, there will be a rally as well. With that, we'll slip into a short break. News updates continue right here on NDTV.